Hello everyone, this is me Nizar with Traveling Fluency YouTube channel. I'm in San Francisco. This is my 5th month here, and today I'm visiting Alcatraz. It's a small island by the bay in San Francisco. It used to be a prison, so I want to discover that, and I hope you enjoy this video. To go to Alcatraz, you have to come to the ferry building by the bay in San Francisco, then take the tram F, I think that one, to the Pier 33. Then from there, you can take the ferry to Alcatraz. I booked for Alcatraz and everything costed like $50 including the ferry from Pier 33 to Alcatraz. I think it's two-way. So to go to Alcatraz, you need to come to Embarcadero metro station, then walk like for 5 minutes to the ferry building, which is just behind me, then pick up a tram called F to Pier 33. So from there, you can take the ferry to Alcatraz. I booked the ticket for two-way, including the visit and the cruise to Alcatraz from Pier 33, which costed me $50. So I'm excited to see it. Stay with me. So this is Pier 33, and I'm gonna go to Alcatraz from here by taking the cruise. Look at that big cruise. Oh my god, it's so big. And that is the Bay Bridge that takes you to Oakland. Alcatraz, San Francisco, California, the USA. This island in the heart of San Francisco Bay, just a mile and a quarter from the sights and sounds of one of the world's most beautiful cities, has been used for a fort, a lighthouse, and a prison. Today, it's one of the national parks at the Golden Gate, and the National Park Service is working to make it accessible to visitors, preserve its buildings, protect its birds and other wildlife, and interpret its history. Whether you have time for a quick cell house tour or a longer island visit, Alcatraz has something to give you, gifts of place, of the past, and of the American experience. Salt-laden cold wind, rocky ground, and a scarcity of fresh water originally limited the number of types of plants on Alcatraz. Covered with the thinnest skin of soil, it supported only sparse grass and a few shrubs. The absence of four-footed predators, however, made Alcatraz a haven for birds, and they built nests and reared their young here in great numbers. Alcatraz the Fort. For thousands of years, Alcatraz was a lonely island, occasionally visited perhaps by Ohlone and Miwok Indians. Between the time the Spanish settled the Bay Area in 1776 and the Yankees took over from the Mexicans in 1846, the island was noted on maps but was otherwise unused. The last Mexican governor of California planned to erect a lighthouse on Alcatraz, but before it could be built, California was annexed by the United States. Although the United States government had begun to study possible uses for the island numbers of the USA.
So this is the main prison cell house, and there is an audio tour.
Alcatraz, the prison. Alcatraz was a prison almost from the very beginning. In 1859, 11 soldiers scheduled for confinement in the Sally Port basement arrived with the fort's first permanent garrison. During the Civil War era, soldiers convicted of desertion, theft, assault, rape, and murder, citizens accused of treason, and the crew of a Confederate ship were imprisoned here. The army also used Alcatraz as a place of incarceration for Hopi, Apache, and Modoc Indians captured during the various Indian wars of the mid to late 19th century, and for military convicts during the Spanish-American War in 1898. American Indian occupation. After the prison closed, Alcatraz was managed as excess government property. During this time, a number of proposals for its future use were discussed. One of these featured a commercial theme park in celebration of space travel, suggested by wealthy Texan Lamar Hunt. Then, a group of American Indian political activities selected Alcatraz as a place to make a stand. Activities occupied Alcatraz a total of 3 times. The first in 1964, when they stayed for only 4 hours. 5 years later, on November 9, 1969, a small group landed on the island and claimed it in the name of the Indians of all tribes. The Duke. The original Duke was completed on this site in 1854 and has been modified and enlarged several times since then. The large 4-story building immediately opposite the Duke was once a military barracks. The ground floor, where the theater, bookstore, and exhibits are located today, was built between 1865 and 1867. With virtually bomb-proof 10-foot thick brick walls, this building was intended to house soldiers and cannon to guard the Duke. Originally designed as a 2-story building, construction was halted after completion of the ground floor, and the cannon became obsolete before they could be mounted. Along today's Duke, a row of brick casemates can still be seen. Barracks apartments. In 1905, the army used inmate labor to add 3 concrete stories on the top of the original Duke level brick barracks built in the 1860s. The finished structure, shown as Building 64, served as quarters for soldiers assigned to prison guard duty. Military Schoolhouse. The small building on top of the guardhouse and Sally Port was built by the Army in the early 1920s. Designed in the Mission Revival style, its graceful lines earned it its nickname, the Chapel. According to available records, the first floor served as a shoe shop, while the second floor housed a half factory. It may also have been used as a meeting room and schoolhouse. In 1934, after the military families left the federal prison, employees arrived. The building was remodeled into housing for bachelor guards. Cell House. In 1907, the War Department decided that Alcatraz would no longer serve as a defensive fort but would instead be used as a military detention barracks. Plans were drawn for a cell house that could house up to 600 prisoners. When finished in 1912, the cell house was the largest steel reinforced concrete building in the world. It was the brainchild and pride of Major Reuben B. Turner, construction engineer and first commandant of the military prison. Central steam heat, skylights and electric lights contributed to its reputation as a model modern facility. Like every other building project on Alcatraz, the construction of the cell house presented the engineers with a challenge. All materials and equipment had to be brought from the mainland on barges. Labor was largely provided by unskilled inmates. Also, mixing the concrete that was the main element of the building required fresh water, not naturally available on the island.
I think they used to get food here and medical attention and good food.
Lighthouse. In 1952, the gold rush era was in full swing and ship traffic to San Francisco was steadily increasing. Alcatraz Island, squarely in line with the passage through the Golden Gate, was a logical place for a lighthouse. On June 1st, 1854, the lighthouse keeper lit the oil lamp for the first time, making the Alcatraz light the first one in operation on the Pacific coast. Over the years, the Alcatraz light has seen many challenges and changes. Oil gave way to kerosene, which in turn yielded to electricity.
The people inside the prisons used to be out once a week for a shower.
In 1909, the 84-foot concrete lighthouse you see today replaced the original.
So the wind in the island used to whistle through the windows and make it scary for the people inside the prisons.
Warden's House. The Warden's House commanded the island. An impressive Mission Revival style home, it had 17 large rooms and windows that framed sweeping views of the Golden Gate and the lights of San Francisco. Built in the 1920s, it was originally the home of the military prison commandant.
For the ferries that take you back to San Francisco, there is one every 30 minutes. So now there is one now. I hope I just catch it.
Center of San Francisco Fishing Industry. During your stay in San Francisco, consider visiting our other national park sites.
So it took me like almost 2 hours to discover the prisons inside the island and Alcatraz. I really enjoyed it, and I really hope you enjoy this video.
Just steps away.
As you see, that's Golden Gate Bridge.